Here are the tests on my 2004 Crane Sureflush. It is set to the water line in the tank and using its original flush valve. It actually leaked to nobody's surprise, so I had to replace the seal. And during that time, I discovered that this is probably the most horribly designed flush valve I have ever seen and ever will see. So I'm just gonna flush it real quick here, but it's got this little piece here that kind of just hooks into the brackets on the bottom of the valve. And the way you get that out is you just have to like yank it around until it comes out. It doesn't even unscrew or anything. And then to get this little pull, this rod out of the flush valve itself, you can't. You have to just bend the seal around it and hope it doesn't break. And while it's refilling, the thing actually floats up. I tried using a more thin foam for the seal, but it didn't work because it kept just floating up. And so I would highly doubt there are actually repair parts available for these things. So if you get one, just save yourself the trouble and replace it with a regular 3-inch flush valve. I absolutely hate these things, and they're definitely my least favorite Coast Foundry product. So anyway, I will show you guys a flush, and then let's see how it does on tests. It flushes pretty much just like a Toto Drake. So for the first test, I'm going to see if it can take a washcloth. This should be an easy pass. Any toilet with this trapway should be able to take a good bit before it clogs. So let's see if it can pass. It did perfectly, as expected. BTR Plumbing had one of these things and it was a terrible performer, so I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope this one is better. I have this other washcloth here that's less used. Let's see if it can take that one. And the tank's almost full. Passed perfectly again. But one thing I noticed is that this thing has a terrible flush. So for the next test, I'm going to see if it can take a grocery bag. I think it should pass this pretty easily. Or not. Let's see if it can take it with half a tank. Still no. I'm going to wait for that to fill up again and give it another flush. Looks like it's going to go through pretty soon. That's sad, honestly. For a toilet with a trapway like that, it really shouldn't be failing grocery bags. I'm going to try the grocery bag again and see if I can get a better result. This time it has a little more water on it, so it shouldn't float. That was still pretty miserable, but at least it took it that time. Now, let's see if it can take a washcloth and a grocery bag together. There is absolutely no way it can pass. No amount of plunging is going to fix that. That's really depressing. Now, let's see if it can take a dish towel. And this is the new dish towel, so it has even less chance of passing. It is 100% going to fail this. It was even angled the right way and it still failed. For a first attempt at something, at a toilet of this design, actually second because Toto did it first like everybody else, or like everything else I mean, it's really terrible. So I'm gonna run over here and grab my old dish towel and see if it can take that. It's gonna fail, but it's worth a shot. How did this thing even do its job when it was installed? I guess it was at a hotel, so all it had to do was take care of business for a couple nights and then it was just left empty. So I guess that's how it managed to last 20 years, 19 years. So overall, I would say this toilet is a very disappointing performer. It's pretty average for the time, to be completely honest. I'd say that a lot of toilets from the early to mid 2000s are just not great performers in general. So it's pretty average, maybe a little below average. But in terms of toilets of all time, it absolutely sucks. So for these next few tests, let's try the flush tests. And for the first flush test, let's see how it flushes with a dry bowl. Like every toilet with a large jet, I'm guessing this is going to fail. It basically just flushed backwards. Now let's see how it flushes with a clogged siphon jet. This is going to do basically nothing. It actually swirls, which is kind of surprising, but it did absolutely nothing in terms of an actual flush. You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of one of those Japanese toilets with the electric siphon jet, where they just kind of slowly swirl for a little bit and then it shoots out real powerfully. So I'm going to overfill the tank and see if that improves the flush. That was still pretty bad. It really had no chance of siphoning at all. Now, let's see if it can take dirt. This is going to be really, really bad. I don't know if it's going to be bad to the point of punishment, but I'm kind of thinking it is. It's a little better than a Glacier Bay. I think I've seen worse than this. I don't know, really. I'm gonna go wash my hands real quick since I got a lot of dirt on me. So let's see how it did. Obviously the bowl clearance is not great. The rinse seems very, very weak. Terrible coverage. It looks like a lot of this stuff just it got stuck to the sides like the new toilets. I'm gonna give it another flush and see if it can take that. Yeah, so that's just really weak rinse. I imagine that could be fixed with a longer flush, which is what I'm gonna do if I ever restore this toilet. However, this stupid piece of toilet seat won't come out, so I don't think I'll ever restore it. I'll probably just end up giving it to BTR. As you can see, I had to cut the piece out there. The other one I was actually able to unscrew, but this one is so rusted that that nut just is not going to come off. So I will let him decide what to do with it. It's so cool and so rare that it would be a shame to get rid of it, but he has one just like this, so I might just smash the thing, honestly. It's really not worth saving. But overall, I would say this toilet is an experimental design, meaning it's interesting and really rare, but it's rare for a reason. Because the tank parts suck, the bowl rinse sucks, the flush sucks, and the performance sucks, which is basically all you want from a toilet. You want those things to work, but this one does the exact opposite. So I think this toilet is just meant for the garbage dump, and that might end up being where it goes. So anyway, that is all for this video. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe and turn on notifications. It helps my channel a lot and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.